What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hospitality Next. I'm Sal Capizzi, SVP of Growth and Marketing here at Tribe. Today, I am joined by Sonal Uberoi, founder and wellness director of Spa Balance Consulting. Sonal, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sal. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Sonal is the author of the best-selling book, The Wellness Asset: How to Transform and Future-Proof Your Hotel. And she also hosts the Wellness and Hospitality interview series. She's engaged with over 100 hoteliers worldwide with more than 20 years of experience on over 40 projects across 4 continents. Her cross-disciplinary expertise and finance background from Goldman Sachs make her the go-to expert for optimizing businesses. She is a dear friend of mine. So now I just have to, this is a full circle moment for me because 4 or 5 years ago, you did the very first episode of the Spa Leader Masterclass with me. The Wellness Asset, your book, had just come out, and now I'm so excited that I get to speak to you again on Hospitality Next. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's jump right into it. So now you've said that wellness is no longer a department, it's the whole point. If that's true, what does a hotel need to redesign both operationally and commercially to make wellness the reason that somebody chooses the property in 2026?
Firstly, Sal, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be doing this first show again. Um, to answer your question, if wellness is the reason someone chooses your hotel in 2026, then it can't live in the spa anymore. Hotels need to redesign the entire experience from how guests arrive, sleep, eat, move, work, and even disconnect. And that's on the operational front. And commercially, hotels need to stop selling treatments and start selling outcomes. So in 2026, our guests won't book because you have a spa. They will book because they know exactly how they're going to feel after staying with you. And that feeling has to be intentional and meaningful.
Absolutely. And we see a lot of these hospitality groups kind of designing entire stays around wellness journeys. I mean, guests are buying the experience, the journey. Are you finding more and more of that going into the future? I think that hospitality groups have really taken a step back. Remember when spa and wellness was like a nice to have? Now everybody is realizing that wellness departments drive more revenue and more guests than, traditional F&B models. What are you finding in your own practice?
Absolutely. I mean, now there is no doubt that wellness, and thank God for that, wellness has gone from this nice to have to being kind of the core business driver. At least superficially, at least hoteliers are getting their head around it. And they're seeing that customers want to spend on wellness. And more importantly, they are aware that, for example, the traditional F&B model, as you're talking about, that brought a customer segment that they didn't necessarily want. They'll come once and then they'll go to another hotel down the road, or you get the typical drunken lot. Your wellness people, they come off season, they stay longer, they pay more, they're more valued guest, they're also more responsible guest, and they want to tap into this new consumer or this more sophisticated consumer that stays longer, repeats, and also gives good word of mouth because there's nothing more stronger than if you've changed someone's well being, enhanced their well being, or helped them solve a wellness problem they have. That is loyalty there for you. And I think hoteliers are realizing that, oh my God, I need to put some wellness programs out there. Though they're still quite reactive in their approach.
Yeah. What is your personal framework for turning wellness into a measurable asset, something that drives revenue, loyalty, brand positioning, and not just treatment sales?
Sal, that's an excellent question. The framework I use starts off with not treating wellness in isolation. Traditionally, when we look at the hotel's profit and loss, we see that there's spa as a department and all the KPIs are centered around number of treatments, treatment revenue, spa productivity, therapist productivity. And this is where we end up going down paths that don't serve us. When we put everything under the box of spa, wellness is judged purely on treatment revenue alone. But wellness, we know, doesn't work in isolation. It's what influences how guests actually choose our hotel, stay with us, and return and remember a hotel for the experience they've had. And that is why the first step in my framework is about reframing wellness. Instead of locking it up in the spa, it's framing wellness as a business asset. So, not that amenity department or marketing tool or compensation tool. And an asset, and this is an important one, by definition, has two things: it creates tangible and intangible value, so value that is measurable and not that easily measurable. And the second thing is it contributes to the overall business objective. And here is where things usually break down in a hotel. We see that hoteliers often focus on the second part. Does it make money? But what they overlook is the broader impact, the broader value that wellness creates beyond treatment revenue. And our wellness teams, we're wellness folks. We tend to do the opposite. We focus only on the first part. So the experience, the emotion, the transformation, but we don't always connect that back to the business goals.
Right.
And wellness becomes a true asset when you actually look at both those sides. And you have a wellness asset when wellness influences how long a guest stays with us, how often they return, how they talk about the brand, and how connected they feel to the experience. And it also shows up internally in our own teams when we attract proud teams who believe in what they're delivering, and not only in the wellness area, front office, housekeeping, maintenance, everyone.
Yeah.
And in simple terms, the wellness asset delivers three outcomes at the same level: the transformation experiences to our guests, proud and committed teams, and also commercially sustainable business. And you need all three of them. And if you miss any of them, you end up with what we have today: spa dressed up as wellness being treated as a cost center or something nice to have. And this is exactly what my 7 step essence framework does. It is designed to take a wellness idea and turn it into a structured asset. So we define the right concept for the particular business, implement it properly, refine it because we're never going to hit it out of the park the first time round, and then we scale it. That's how it works. So treatment revenue is just one of the outputs. The real value of wellness shows up in loyalty, in brand differentiation, total guest value, staff turnover, and how the entire hotel asset ecosystem performs, not only within itself, but within its comp set. So that is that framework that works. And it ensures that we go from this treating wellness as a spa, glorified spa, to actually being a business asset that drives tangible and intangible value that contributes to the overall business goal.
Absolutely. And you said something very important there. Not only is it about the guests, it's about the teams and how they feel and making sure that everybody from the general manager or the spa director down to the practitioners, feel like they're a part of something bigger. They're a part of a journey and not just cookie cutter offering treatments. You've talked about how wellness leaders feel neglected while owners still see wellness as risky. What's the real root cause behind why hotel wellness so often underperforms? And what's the first thing you'd fix if you walked into a struggling program tomorrow?
I think the short answer would be misalignment.
Okay.
So We wellness leaders don't have authority. We've just been given a position without an authority, and sometimes we don't even have a seat at the big table. Then we have owners who want unexpected returns without the clarity. And then we have hotel operations that see wellness as this kind of headache department that they don't truly understand because most general managers come from a hotel or an F&B background. And here's the thing, everyone, us wellness folks, the owners, and then the hoteliers want results, but no one agrees on the common goal. And the first thing I would do is fix the strategy.
Okay.
Before changing anything, I'd ask, why? Why are you doing wellness? Now, it doesn't need to be this earth altering experience, but why is it? It doesn't need to be a moral reason either, but why do we want to do wellness? Who is this wellness offering for? And what problems are we solving of theirs? And most importantly, how does it support the hotel commercially? And I often see hoteliers obsess over the what and the how. So it's like the tip of the iceberg. Those like which is the best element, hyperbaric chambers, cryotherapy chambers, infrared saunas, and everything is longevity based, wearable devices. They're always focusing on that what. Maybe a smaller percentage of those people who focus on the what also focus on how are we going to deliver this? But the vast majority never ask why. Why are we doing what we're doing in the first place? So I think it's just misalignment, different people with different agendas on the table. And I think the first thing to fix is what is your agenda? Why are you doing wellness? And then from there, whatever your reason, it could be like, I just want to attract people, but I don't care about the revenue. That's valid. Not that I say I advocate for it. But if that's what you want, then say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it's important to you and then do
Right.
something else. Don't say X and do Y. There is no right or wrong. Just choose what's right for you. So I think it's misalignment.
Absolutely. So now you're a trailblazer. People respect you. You know what you're talking about. You take a step back sometimes. Like you just explained how you would strategize into a failing or underperforming business. And you've called out something the industry doesn't like to admit, that hotels often want a wellness director who can do everything: operations, finance, marketing, staffing, and guest experience without the investment or authority. What role structure actually works if brands want world-class wellness outcomes?
This is such a good question, Sal. And yes, we have to bring this topic up. I know it's incredibly uncomfortable, and hoteliers and our industry really doesn't like looking at it. So here's what we see: hotels often say they want world class wellness, but the structure they have put in place since the very beginning makes it almost impossible. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, who can do that? I mean, they hire one wellness director and quietly expect that person, superhero person, to carry out everything: strategy, operations, finance, jump in and do a treatment, marketing, guest satisfaction, design treatments, and all that often without the real authority,
Yeah.
budget, or even decision making power.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is really creating a hero model for our wellness leaders. And all the burden sits on one person. And this one person, the wellness leader, is expected to hold the entire system together through effort and goodwill. There is actually no training sometimes. And that's why we see such a high burnout rate of our wellness leaders. That's why we see such high attrition. That's why so many talented wellness leaders eventually leave the industry altogether. And this isn't leadership. We're not asking our leaders to lead, and it's not even ownership or owning the wellness concept. What I call it, this is what I call hoteliers abdicating their responsibility of a very important business asset. And it all boils down to how wellness is being treated, genuinely being treated. and it's still seen as a feature to be managed. And instead of this asset that needs to be stewarded. And this is a bit also coming into the book I will be writing, my next book I'll be writing. So if
It's
we
coming soon, ladies and gentlemen.
so if we with this concept of stewardship, if we, a simple way to explain it would be think of this garden like if you treat in your house a garden like this feature you have to have and a chore you have to just look after, you would say just water the plants, pull out the weeds, and make it look nice. And that ultimately is what wellness management is about in hotels today. That's how it's treated. But if the garden actually matters to you, you will ask a very different question. What does this need to grow well? Where should we plant things so that they get the sun? How do we look after this all year round, not just today? And that is what I mean by stewardship. So when I say wellness is not a department to manage, it's a strategic asset to be governed. I mean this. Wellness doesn't it just isn't something you run on a day to day. It's something you design carefully. You protect it intentionally and you invest in it so it keeps creating value over time, that asset. And a steward of your garden does not do all the work themselves. Their role is to put the right people in the right places, the right people in the right seat in the bus, put the right rules, the right structure. So the system works even when they're not in the room. So, in very simple terms, the concept of management, the way wellness is treated in hotels, asks, is it working today? They don't care about tomorrow. Whereas stewardship asks, will this still work in 5 years? And that's the difference the industry keeps on missing. They expect one person to look after strategy and execution. They set this person up for failure. So we have very competent people who can't think strategically because they're roped into the execution and they cannot execute to the highest level, to the level they want to, because they don't have a strong strategic or coherent strategy in place. It's a catch 22 situation.
Right.
No one will ever win. So we need to step back and stop treating wellness as this feature to be managed, but instead an asset to be stewarded. So will this last long after people leave? So a true asset is what outlives individual people, their personalities, customer personas, and trends. And this is what hoteliers need to shift. They can't put all the burden on one person. What needs fixing is the structure, not the people leading it.
Absolutely. So now you have worked with many luxury brands, including the Four Seasons and Sofitel. What do you believe the best properties will be doing completely different that separates them from everyone else?
I think the best properties won't be chasing trends.
Okay.
They will be building concepts. They will be building systems that endure, systems that outlive roles, personalities, and trends. So I think that's fundamentally the difference we'll be seeing going forward. Those that chase trends, so basically attract attention, or those brands that build loyalty,
Yeah.
focusing on outcomes, not only today, but long into the future.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I feel like a lot of brands, they see something rising, and this is not to discredit anybody with what I'm about to say that has a brand in this vertical, but let's keep it real. Do you remember the CBD boom?
Yes.
Everybody was using CBD. There were CBD facials and massages and feet wraps and mud wraps and
And
everything was
spas around
infused.
everywhere.
Yeah, and everyone had CBD all across their menus. And while it was a great add-on, it drove additional revenue. And there are wellness benefits to it. It was just a boom that took over the entire industry for like a solid 4 to 5 years. And now, I mean, you walk into, a spa or wellness department, and now everybody has scaled it back so much to being, just the massage with CBD oil. But I feel like CBD had a very long run with being infused to so many wellness menus.
It did. It did. And again, it's an example of this trend led. Obviously, it did have
Yes.
outcomes. And then
Yes.
suddenly, when that trend becomes the norm, someone
Yeah.
wants something new. Instead of
Yeah.
going deeper with what
Yeah.
already works, people want
Yeah.
to, it's like the bling or a
Yeah.
child in a candy shop.
Yeah.
They want to try everything, even if they don't want it all.
Yeah. So now I want to wrap up with our fast five. For you, boutique hotel or luxury resort?
Boutique,
What hotel tech could you never live without?
internet.
Oh,
That can
oh,
be considered a tech.
oh, 1,000,000%. I want to ask a follow-up question for that. Are you doing the complimentary internet or the premium Wi-Fi?
Complementary, high speed.
So now room service at midnight. What are you ordering?
Who orders anything at midnight? Nothing.
Uh, well, okay, fair. I do. Maybe like a club sandwich or something, depending on when you're getting
Um,
back to the room.
I would do ginger tea.
Oh, nice. I love ginger tea with honey.
Mm.
What's your dream hotel destination for 2026?
La Patagonia de Chile. I
Beautiful.
know, I know, I know. I would love to go there.
Good for you. I can't wait to see the pictures of that. And what's one word you would use to describe the future of hospitality?
Stewardship.
Love. All right. Thank you so much for joining this episode of Hospitality Next. You can get in contact with Sonel at www.spa-balance.com. And you can get in contact with me at sal@try.be. Remember, stay bold, stay booked, stay next. Until next time.